My video is starting. We are live. Okay.
Hey. Charlotte Harbor Environmental Center.
Time is 35.
Okay. There you go.
Very good.
And we're going to probably do
This
that
one first.
and then
Okay.
this one later.
Yeah.
Probably the other way around.
Okay.
We'll see.
All
We'll
right.
see. We'll see.
Okay.
I'll tell you as we get there. Just remember which is which.
All right, here we go.
Hi, I'm Michael P. Hammonds. I'm here to talk to you all about law and society. We're here at WCCF News Radio 1580 on your radio dial. That's AM 100.9 on your FM dial. And we're streaming across the World Wide Web through an iHeart platform, WCCFAM.com. We're also on Facebook Live, thanks to the new camera and microphone that Zane has going on his computer. Last week we had some pretty pictures but no sound during the Facebook portion of it, and so we posted back so that you could hear the radio show. Zane does a great job of keeping up with the archives, and there's just a couple of clicks to be able to get to the shows. So however you got here, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to build a zoo. The themes are really what we call ourselves. And another theme is what eats at us. And then finally the big picture. That's sort of the outline of it. The place names, as we think about the places that we live. I mean, I live in Charlotte County. Charlotte County is named after Charlotte Harbor, which was named by after Charlotte, a queen in England, and so who had financed and been part of Bernard Roman's excursions into Florida. And so Frank Duskin does a great job about talking about that, and we think about the name. So we've got this name Punta Gorda that, of course, was a Spanish place, geographical description. Punta Gorda, fat point, prominence that sticks out into the harbor. People came down here that didn't speak Spanish, saw it on the charts, and just anglicized the name. So Punta Gorda is how it's said. Punta Gorda is the Spanish name, but if you're from here, you call it Punta Gorda. The names that we have around here also include things like Caloosahatchee, the Caloosahatchee, and then we throw the word river on it, which is redundant because Hatchie is the Creek word for river, stream, body of water, flowing water. So Hatchie. So we got Caloosahatchee, so the Colusa River. Frank's column talks about historical maps and shows original names for Myakka and the Peace Rivers. It says the Myakka River flows south from near the Hardee-Manatee County line for 68 miles and drains 235 square miles. The Peace River begins northeast of Bartow, travels 106 miles to Charlotte Harbor, and this drainage basin is 1,367 square miles. Well, Bernard Romans, a Dutch-born navigator commissioned by King George to map Great Britain's newly acquired Florida territory in the early 1770s, And although not the discoverer, as he claimed, he gave the harbor the name that stuck. The early map of Charlotte Harbor reflects both rivers, noting that they were also discovered by Bernard Romans. Of course, we know how that goes. It was known by a lot of people, but a European looked at it and put a name on it. Okay. So the river that we call the Myakka was in 1833 was called Asternal. Asternal. So the Asternal shows up in the early 1800s, and of course asternal means it's not connected to the sternum. It's like a rib bone that floats that's not connected to the sternum. So we've got a few of those, asternal, and how it came that this body of water was called asternal, who knows? Frank doesn't even try to speculate. But the other river, the Peace River, what we call now the Peace River, was back in that early time. It was the Creek word Talacochopo. Talakchopoco. I think that's how you say it. Talakchopoco. Talakchopoco Hatchie. So, Greek language. So some of the the native words for the places stuck. Later, that became Pease Creek, and so Pease Creek that's what Talakchopoco is the word for these peas, these long peas that grow wild along the Peace River. And so over time it got corrupted into Peace River rather than Pease Creek. And so we have Myakka, which was probably a native group north central Florida, how that got stuck on our southwest Florida river that comes into Charlotte Harbor from the north and west. Not really sure. So where do these names come from? How do these things happen? Let's listen to, while we're talking about the Peace River, let's listen to Steve Blackwell sing about our River of Peace.
God gave us Peace River to cherish and keep. It's not just for us, it's our children's to reap. All beauty and life we hope never to cease. We're all caretakers of this river of peace. This river of peace. It flows from Lake Hancock, this Rio de Paz, with bluegill and sunfish, mullet and bass. Calm waters reflect stately cypress and palm, while turtles on logs they sun in the calm. They sun in the calm. On osprey and bobcats and cranes you can look. See gators and panthers, catch catfish and stuff. Peace River, life giver, our own precious link to wildlife and nature and the water we drink. Oh, the water we drink. Don't endanger the wildlife on this river of peace with phosphates, pollution, and poison release. Let it flow free and pure like it did in the past. For this beautiful river, how long will it last? How long will it last? flame will do us no harm. Our smokestacks and toxins cause for alarm. Just trust us, they say, and try to be calm. Don't think radiation or cancer's time bomb. Oh, it's a time bomb. Oh, it's a time bomb.
Hey, we got a caller. Caller, you're on the air. Hello.
Michael,
Hi.
this is Peter.
Hey, Peter. Hey, Peter. Thanks for. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we now have Peter Wolf Toth on here. He is the artist who creates the Whispering Giants all over these United States and other parts of the world, and he's putting together a trip to the Amazon basin to do another one. Peter, how have you been, sir?
I have been great.
Tell me about what's happening in your life.
I'm preparing my trip to the Amazon. I have sent, I think I sent you a letter to one of the chiefs down in the Amazon, and waiting for a reply. These things take time.
Sure, they do. So the have you? You also had a painting that you published that you were going to do another some kind of non-traditional, non-native whispering giant, as it were. What was that about? That's an angel up holding a child above her head. Yeah. Tell me about that.
That will, obviously, I will be making a traditional, basic, indigenous Amazonian Indian,
Right.
similar to what I have made in Punta Gorda, my hometown. I have a hometown in every state, so a different country. But the point is, this angel will be my second statue in the Amazon. It will be an angel holding and protecting a baby.
Mm-hmm.
A kind of a metaphor, you might say, for the situation with the rainforest, which of course is the lungs of the world pretty well. So it's a metaphor for preserving and protecting the rainforest, the Amazonian people and their way of life, and honoring them. That is the basic idea of my proposed angel holding protecting a baby or a child.
Mm-hmm. Peter, if people wanted to see pictures of your various whispering giants and and your artwork, is there an easy place that they can find that online?
Well, I do have a Facebook, and they can go to Facebook. I usually try to friend people.
Mm-hmm.
When they try to friend me, I have close to 5,000 friends. So sometimes I have to delete people. If they have the patience, as a matter of fact, I would welcome anyone that wishes to give me a call. Perhaps you would be kind enough to leave my phone number and text me, and I will personally send them a picture of both the statue in the Amazon and some of my other different statues that I've created
Mm-hmm.
in all 50 states, Canada, and Europe.
Right. You did one down on the Danube there someplace, I think, yes?
Yes, that was my 73rd Whispering Giant.
So just briefly tell the listening audience what animates you and your interest in Native folks that you wanted to create an effigy to them in each of the 50 states.
Well, the reason my statues is, I would think that perhaps John F. Kennedy, during my time as a child, a young man, growing up in Ohio, I admired John F. Kennedy and his statement, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country." Also, you had Martin Luther King. His dream and my dream was to honor the indigenous people of North America by creating a giant statue in their likeness. So each of my statues, starting from the very first one that I created in California out of a cliffside, so I use stone there. Thus, my basic tool has always been a hammer and chisel. I'm not a chainsaw artist, and I love chainsaw art. I love all kinds of art, but I love painting. I love sculpturing, and this was my gift to America and to honor people facing injustice throughout the world. Were unable to make a statue.
Yeah. So the one in Punta Gorda was commissioned by Fred Babcock, and you were here in the early 70s and carved out of an ear tree, I think, is what it was. And you carved what you when it got moved, and you refurbished it, and we collaborated on the name and named it Calusa Tamukwa, and that's right there on the corner of US 41 South and Retta Esplanade in Punta Gorda. It looks in pretty good shape still. It probably needs a coat.
Considering he's been standing there for almost 50 years.
Right.
I mean, he's 48 years old, going to be 50 in 2 years, and half a century standing out in the weather. I would say looks very good.
Yeah. Really great.
Nothing is forever, and I would like to hopefully, if I'm given the chance to educate people, because a lot of people have the misconception about what the meaning of that statue is, and I understand that. When I was making the statue, someone came up and said, "Well, why did you put a buffalo up there with his legs up in the air?" I told him, I said, "I didn't put that up there. Neither did I put an eagle up there with mangled wings attempting to fly. It was always there. I just simply took away the excess wood that was blocking the dying bison and the eagle attempting to fly, which is symbolically, it represents the indigenous people's fight. That's the whole purpose of my work." And I would like to, if I have a couple minutes here, if I could elaborate for those people that think less of my work, perhaps they might understand it and take a bit more interest in it when I tell them that my statue in Cherokee of Sequoia up in the Smoky Mountains, a 5-star museum has placed a $3.5 million value on that.
Yeah.
So some people think that these things are worthless. Well, that may not be so. I mean, I'm not saying that your statue there in Punta Gorda is $3.5 million. I'm simply saying that it has value and importance.
It has value and importance in addition to the artistry that it exposes from your efforts and creativity. It also is one of the only things that we have in Punta Gorda giving a narrative to the indigenous peoples that were here well before any settlers were coming around here. That ended up. We think our history sort of starts in the 1870s around here. A little bit earlier, maybe with the Civil War, but really people don't even think about what was here before, and that Whispering Giant reminds people that there were people here before. Yeah.
Absolutely, and
Right.
That's really, really important. And congratulations to the fathers and everyone that has, and of course, at the place had one of my statues there. And take care of it too. I'm so happy, and I'd like to see it last way beyond a half a century.
Yep. Well, hope.
Even the history aspect, what it honors and represents the indigenous people that suffered, and many of them, and perhaps even most of them, died out here in Florida. That should be remembered, and we should honor the Seminoles. They are pretty well the only tribe left in Florida.
Well, they were the runaways from the come down from the Creek folks that were having such a hard time in what we now call Alabama and Mississippi and up in there. And so these are the runaways, and they filled a void because the Calusa and other indigenous peoples had been wiped out and driven from this peninsula. So, yeah. Hey, Peter, I hope that you are able to make a trip down and visit us, and let's take a look at and see what we do need to do in order to maintain the Whispering Giant Calusa Timucua. And thanks for calling in, and I look forward to seeing you before too long.
Well, my pleasure, Michael, and hopefully you might be able to help me set up a 50-year reunion to come back and invite me. Anyway, thank you, and God bless you all.
Okay, Peter, thanks for calling. Hey,
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
bye-bye. Peter Wolf Toth. He's a very interesting cat, and very passionate about what he does, and rightfully so. We're in talking about these people that came before. One of the things that Steve Blackwell talked about in his music was the people in the chain of his ancestors that made up, and how we stand on their shoulders and on their backs, but we don't even really know much about them. We're so rootless in this society that if you can remember back 3 generations and call their names, that's pretty important. If you, however, the people I read about folks in Afghanistan, and it's easy, and people there can remember back 13 and 14 generations rather than just 2 or 3. I mean, so and as we have just gone through dealing with the passing of my father and my mother a year ago, the recollection of who came before, we were trying to capture it and write it down, but that line of information and those connections are being lost. And so let's hear Steve Blackwell sing about the line.
All my ancestors would stand in a line. Who would I recognize and know that they are mine?
Let me see that CD.
Oh, sometimes I think it's a shame how few I would know, how few I could name. My line of ghosts that push on me, lined up in heaven's fields as far as you can see. Oh, I put these thoughts back on the shelf, 'cause soon I'll be in that line myself. forget you, though I don't know your face. You once breathed this air and lived in this place. You once viewed the sunsets that blessed your soul. You sang and you prayed, friends and family made you whole. In love it is answered, a love rare and fine, a prayer to the old ones, all standing in a line. Oh, I won't forget you, and it's plain to see. I won't forget you, you won't forget me. Oh, how can I thank you? All links in a chain. Oh, you ancient ones, unknown and unnamed, more precious than gold and jewels and fine wine, are the ones from the past, all standing in a line. More precious than gold, jewels and fine wine, are the ones from the past, all standing in a line.
Yeah, Steve Blackwell. That in line, the line is from his album More Than It Seems. Steve Blackwell and Friends, and Carrie, his daughter, Andy Leach, and Dan Leach, Gary Holinsky, Steve Blackwell, and that first one, Listen Here, by Steve Blackwell, and with Mary and Les Caraher. And this Listen Here was Steve's first release. It's got some great ones on it, including the River of Peace, which we did a video. I was the key grip on that, and Gary Holinsky was the cameraman, and Steve did a music video of River of Peace, and the folks from Mosaic were concerned, actually knew about the CD and were concerned about the attack on them. Hey, just trust us. That they want to be trusted, but they've caused too much devastation environmentally for to not keep very close watch on them and keep them contained. So, and I know DeSoto County is passing some legislation to keep them contained, and Charlotte County's doing the same. And hey, Steve Blackwell's music you can find on Spotify now, and so you can download his music electronically and listen to it at your convenience. If you would like one of these CDs that I've played here this morning, you can call in here, 941-206-1580, and answer some questions. And if you answer them correctly, then the first one that answers them correctly will give a CD. So there's two of them. One of could be Listen Here, and the other is More Than It Seems. But here's the questions. Was his widow, his wife's name Sue or Margie? That's question number one. Question number two, what instrument did Steve Blackwell play for his song about Michael Jackson? And the third question: what sport did Steve Blackwell coach at Charlotte High School?
Man, those are hard questions.
I may keep these CDs, you know. There's people that know, and probably the ones that know the answers to the questions already have the CDs. So we'll see. It's fun. I'm serious about it, though. If you can answer the questions, give me a call, and we'll get you a CD. So I couldn't do this show without sponsors. Folks like Parks Reese in Montana. Parks is in Livingston, Montana. I gave you a picture of one of his recent paintings. This is not the most recent, but this was last fall. He was finishing that up. Parks Reese in Livingston, Montana, and you can see the kind of work that he does. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him at his website. It's Parks Reese, ParksReece, and so it's just parksreece.com, and you can find him. Thanks for being part. You know, last week I talked to you about Sugar, about my dad's dog, and how Sugar was likely going to Montana. Well, a granddaughter, a great-granddaughter actually, had a meltdown about the dog not coming to them, and convinced her father that they should have the dog. And so I called Parks and have taken the dog back, so that the dog is going to go to Kinley, actually. And so Lori, my secretary, who has been deeply involved in Greyhound rescue, has taken her temporarily until Kinley's family, they're in the process of moving into a new house, until they can get into their new house. So that's the follow-up on last week's show, is that Sugar is not going to Montana. But thank you very much, Parks, for wanting her and wanting that connection with my dad. So Parks Reese, go see his artwork. You'll love it. It's political, environmentally sensitive, spiritual, funny stuff. Some of it's whimsical. Some of it make you laugh, slap your knee, laugh out loud. Some of it will move you to tears, and some of it to laughter. Gordon McMartin, United Country Real Estate. It's Gulfland Real Estate. He specializes in lifestyle property. Gordon McMartin, from the coast to the country. He's been, so Gulfland Real Estate is it's a no-cost professional evaluations, national marketing, full service, 365, list to close. So he has an office in historic downtown Arcadia, and he's got a phone number here and a presence in Port Charlotte. So give him a call, 941-456-7977 or 863-494-2100 from the coast to the country for all of your real estate needs. Gene Gorman Auto Sales. You know, you've seen the billboards and the signs. I'd give them away, but my wife won't let me. I'd fix them for free, but my wife won't let me. That's because they're a family-owned and operated business. 25 straight years as Charlotte County's #1 volume independent used car dealer. 3 locations to serve everyone. Gene Gorman Family Motors in Charlotte Harbor. Gene Gorman Premier Auto Sales downtown across from the Punta Gorda Police Department. And Gene's Dirt Cheap Cars just south of Acquiesta. All the vehicles go through a certification process and come with a nationwide warranty. Owen's the general manager and vice president of the corporation. His dad has a memoir out. You had to be there, and they're giving away free oil changes for a year and a copy of Gene's memoir to anyone that buys a car, sells a car, to Gene Gorman Auto Sales. Go see him. Boca Grande Marina. Boca Grande Marina and beautiful Boca Grande on Gasparilla Island. It's a barrier island between the Gulf of Mexico and the Charlotte Harbor estuaries. To get there by boat, you go in that south entrance to the Boca Bayou and then turn south into the yacht basin. Refurbished marina, Dockmaster's office commands the basin in order to help you tie up safely. Fuel dock's open from 8 in the morning until 5 in the evening, 7 days a week, all year round. If the fuel dock's open, so is the ship's store. You can get sundries, bait, tackle, drinks, those kinds of things, hats, sunglasses, jackets, etc. You can rent a golf cart and tool around the rest of the island. They're opening back up. They've been closed for this last part of September, but they're opening up here this first weekend of October, and so Miller's Dockside has cold beer, full bar, great menu, fabulous service, beautiful setting overlooking the marina. Eagles Grill upstairs. Chef Antonio has specials every day, and everything on the menu is special. So whether you get there by seaplane like Captain Mark Futch used to do, or come by boat, come by golf cart, car, bicycle, run, walk, crawl to Boca Grande Marina, you'll be happy to be there, and they'll be happy to see you. Captain Bill's Barbershop's open. Go get a haircut. Charlotte Harbor Environmental Center. Charlotte Harbor Environmental Center has 2 locations, Alligator Creek campus on Burnt Store Road and just south of Punta Gorda, and Cedar Point on Lemon Bay across from Lemon Bay High School. The Cedar Point location is going to have, during the month of October, starting not this weekend but the second weekend, it's going to have Halloween hikes through the Cedar Point property. So Halloween excitement in the woods at Cedar Point. Go check out the Charlotte Harbor Environmental Center's website and Facebook page for more information to know how to participate or how to volunteer and to help them put it on. We're also having Harvest for the Harbor is coming up soon. That's November 5th at Lashley Park Marina. Going to be music, delicious food, and a good fundraiser for an appreciation night for folks at Charlotte Harbor Environmental Center. Join up, come take part. Michael P. Heyman's attorney at law, PA, do a general practice. Give us a call, 941-575-0007. Lori will answer the phone. If we can't help, we'll try to get you to someone who can. It's a hot dog day. He's going to be opening back up here in October for the season. Weather's so nice, want to go to the park. Grilled onions and peppers in the air. Umbrella in a cart. Hot dog in the park. Enjoy the repast. It's a hot dog day. So, thanks for listening out there across the World Wide Web. We're listened to in Mexico, in Taiwan, in Hawaii. Hey, Birdie, it's Pappy. I love you, and I love that brother of yours, Hanker. He's a bazooka, that boy. Birdie just had a birthday this past Sunday, the 26th. Happy birthday. Hope it was a fun, exciting, memorable birthday for you. We're listened to in Colorado with Rob Hartung. The Saladays live out there and listen every now and then. Vicky's just recently retired. Maybe she has time to listen to the radio show on Thursdays now. We're listened to in Texas with the Mozingo clan. We're listened to all across the northern tier of these United States, up to from Minnesota, Wisconsin, to Maine, and right down the eastern seaboard to North Carolina, from Raleigh to High Point with Dr. Sam Kirby and his family, to Asheville with Craig Econopoli and Gil and Maria, Sandusky and Carson Dellinger. Carson is part of our extended friend family, and her husband also, and their children, Leloy and Sabine. We're going to get to see them sometime this fall. She's got a legacy of love from her dad, but she also has Carolina Cajun. It's not a hot sauce, but it's a blend of love from the Piedmont, and it's good on most everything. It's so good on chicken, there's a guarantee. What's that guarantee, Zane?
To get a better piece of chicken, you gotta be a rooster.
That's right. Ride the rooster on down to our local listening area. So what eats at us? This is the second part of it. I've got a very close friend, Scott McMillian. He's part of our hunting camp for antelope, part of our friend group across time, and he's got a magazine. He's the editor-in-chief. It's the Montana Quarterly, and it's an award-winning. And his spring issue from this year had an article in it by Bill Kittredge. Bill's passed, and this is from an article that he wrote 40 years ago. But as Scott says in this, that and he took the photographs on it. If you haven't become a subscriber to Montana Quarterly, you really should. It's great writing. William Kittredge, known as the Dean of Montana Letters, lived for decades in Missoula, where he taught creative writing at the University of Montana and published many articles, stories, and books. He died on December 4, 2020, at the age of 88. Since then, much has been written about how he helped define the modern West through his own work and through his influence on other writers. This piece originally ran in the May 1979 issue of Rocky Mountain Magazine, a widely respected journal that lasted only a few years and was Kittredge's first published essay, though he had published abundant fiction prior to that. It was republished in Kittredge's 2007 collection, The Next Rodeo, which is a Grey Wolf Press publication, and remains as relevant today as it was 40 years ago. Bill, the last word is all yours. And so this is titled Redneck Secrets. Redneck Secrets. And it really has to do about this notion of the Wild West redneck who has competing values within themselves, and so it's an article about that, and it's well worth the read, and it talks about. I'm just going to do maybe two excerpts from it, maybe just one. We'll see. Real Western, back in the late 1940s, when I was getting close to graduating from high school, they used to stage Saturday night prize fights down at the Veterans Auditorium. Not boxing matches, but prize fights, a name that rings in the ear something like cockfight. One night, the two main event fighters, always heavyweights, were a hulking Indian and a white farmer from a little dairy farm community. The Indian, I recall, had the word mother carved on his hairless chest. Not tattooed, but carved in the flesh with a blade, so that the scar tissue spelled out the word in livid welts. The white farmer looked soft, and his body was alabaster, pure white except for his wrists and neck, which were dark, burned in the fields red, burnished red. While they hammered at each other, we hooted from the stands like gibbons, rooting for our favor or on strictly territorial and racial grounds. And in the end, we're all disappointed. The white farmer went down like thunder about 3 times, blood snorting from his nose and a delicate spray and decorating his whiteness like in, say, the movies. The Indian simply retreated to his corner and refused to go on. It didn't make any sense. We screeched and stomped, but the Indian just stood there, looking at the bleeding white man. And the white man cleared his head and looked at the Indian, and they both shook their heads at each other as if acknowledging some private news they had just learned to share. They both climbed out of the ring and together made their way up the aisle, walked away. Real Western. Of course, in that short-lived partnership of the downtrodden, the Indian was probably doomed to a lifetime on the lower end of the seesaw. No dairy farms in a pastoral valley, nor morning milking and school boards for him. But that's not the essential point in this equation. There's a real spiritual equivalency between red men and rednecks. How sad and ironic that they tend to hit at each other for lack of a real target, acting out some tired old scenario. Both, with some justice, feel used and cheated and disenfranchised. Both want to strike back, which may be just walking away, or the bad answer, bloody noses. So Kittredge really paints a vivid picture of the human condition, and this other is also the human condition. Last winter, after the snowmobile races in Seeley Lake, I had come home to stand alongside my favorite bar rail and listen to my favorite skinny redneck barmaid turn down propositions. Did I say home? Anyway, standing there and feeling at home, I realized that good redneck bars are like good hippie bars. They're community centers, like churches and pubs in the old days, and drastically unlike our singles bars where every person is so radically his or her own. My skinny barmaid friend looked up at one lumberjack fellow who was clomping around in his white logger boots and smiling as most winsome. She said, "You're just one of those boys with a sink full of dishes. You ain't looking for nothing but someone dumb enough to come and wash your dishes. You go home and play your radio." A sink full of dirty dishes. And laundry. There are aspects of living alone that can be defined as going out to the J.C. Penney store and buying $33 worth of new shorts and socks and T-shirts because everything you own is stacked up, raunchy and stinking on the far side of the bed, and going out and buying paper plates at Kmart because you're tired of eating your meals crouched over the kitchen sink. You finally learn about dirty dishes. They stay dirty. And those girls, like my skinny friend, have learned a thing or two. There are genuine offers of solace and companionship, and there are dirty dishes and nursing. And then a trailer house, and 3 babies in 3 years, diapers, and he's gone to Alaska for the big money. So, back to barmaiding, this time with kids to support, babysitters. Hey, go home and play your radio. Go home and play your radio. The human condition. The good and the bad redneck story within this, you get to want another eye-opening about it. Take a look at Betsy Quammen's American Zion, and you see some of that competing values that are within this notion of the independent Wild West person. So, the big picture. What's the big picture on this? Well, in the Tao of Pooh and the Tay of Piglet, which I've been reading, we've got some discussion about the big picture. You see, Pooh, I said, a lot of people don't seem to know what Taoism is. Yes, said Pooh, blinking his eyes. So that's what this chapter is for, to explain things a bit. Oh, I see, said Pooh. And the easiest way to do that would be for us to go to China for a moment. What? Said Pooh, his eyes wide open in amazement. Right now? Of course. All we need to do is lean back, relax, and there we are. Oh, I see, said Pooh. Let's imagine that we've walked down a narrow street in a large Chinese city and have found a small shop that sells scrolls painted in the classic manner. We go inside it and ask to be shown something allegorical, something humorous, perhaps, but with some sort of timeless meaning. The shopkeeper smiles, says, I have just the thing, he tells us, a copy of the Vinegar Tasters. He leads us to a large table and unrolls the scroll, placing it down for us to examine. Excuse me, I must attend to something for a moment, he says, and goes back to the back of the shop, leaving us alone with the painting. Although we can see that this is a fairly recent version, we know that the original was painted long ago. Just when is uncertain, but by now the theme of the painting is well known. We see 3 men standing around a vat of vinegar. Each has dipped his finger into the vinegar and has tasted it. The expression on each man's face shows his individual reaction. Since the painting is allegorical, we are to understand that these are no ordinary vinegar tasters, but are instead representatives of the three teachings of China, and that the vinegar they are sampling represents the essence of life. The three masters are Kung Fuzi, Confucius, Buddha, and Lao Tzu, author of the oldest existing book of Taoism. The first has a sour look on his face, and the second wears a bitter expression, but the third man is smiling. To Kung Fuzi, life seemed rather sour. He believed that the present was out of step with the past, and the government of man on earth was out of harmony with the way of heaven, the government of the universe. Therefore, he emphasized reverence for the ancestors as well as for the ancient rituals and ceremonies in which the emperor, as son of heaven, acted as intermediary between limitless heaven and limited earth. Under Confucianism, the use of precisely measured court music, prescribed steps, actions, and phrases all added up to an extremely complex system of rituals, each used for a particular purpose at a particular time. A saying was recorded about Kung Fuzi: if the mat was not straight, the master would not sit. This ought to give the indication of the extent to which things are carried out under Confucianism. To Buddha, the second figure in the painting, life on earth was bitter, filled with attachments and desire that led to suffering. The world was seen as a setter of traps, a generator of illusions, a revolving wheel of pain for all creatures. And in order to find peace, the Buddha considered it necessary to transcend the world of dust and reach nirvana, literally a state of no wind. Although essentially optimistic attitude of the Chinese altered Buddhism considerably after it was brought in from native India, the devout Buddhists often saw the way to nirvana interrupted all the same by the bitter wind of everyday existence. Lao Tzu, the harmony that naturally existed between heaven and earth from the very beginning, could be found by anyone at any time, but not by following the rules of Confucianism, as he stated in the Tao Te Ching, the Tao Virtue Book. Earth was in essence a reflection of heaven, run by the same laws, not by the laws of men. We've got 1 minute. So, the Tao Te Ching, we'll turn to number 23. Speak little. Hold to your own nature. A strong wind does not blow all morning. A cloudburst does not last all day. The wind and the rain are from heaven and earth, and even those do not last long. How much less so the efforts of man? One who lives in accordance with the truth becomes the embodiment of Tao. His actions become those of nature, his ways those of heaven. It is through such a one that heaven rejoices, that earth rejoices, that all of life rejoices. Hey, rejoice. Thanks for helping me build this zoo. We're out on the drums, and we'll see you on the radio next week.
We're News Radio 1580 AM WCCF Punta Gorda and FM 100.9 W265 EA Punta Gorda.
All right.
Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks on Facebook Land for tuning in. We'll see you next week. And we'll get this posted and out. Thanks. Go ahead and kill her.
And